This morning, I really want to dive into, how to press in when the pressure's on. And there is times where we all feel pressure. We all feel like there's a time where we have to produce. We have to get out there and make something happen. And, maybe you're at that point right now. I know for me, there was a time in my life, and there have been times ever since then too, where, I have to get my butt into gear. And the pressure's on. And I'll tell you, every single time that has happened and I have grown through that, it's not always fun. It's not always easy, but every time that you press in and you press through the pressure, you always come out on the other side stronger. And I could name, incident after incident, time after time where I have felt pressure and I've decided to press through that pressure and come out on the other side a completely different person. And the growth that I've had in my life over the last, 10, 15 years has been phenomenal. I mean, I look back at myself and, 15 years ago, and I was an incredibly shy person. I was, not very bold in the way I spoke. I was kind of very timid around people. I wasn't necessarily the best people person. I mean, I was good at getting along with people. But I wasn't like if you would have got me up in front of people to do public speaking, I probably would have ran in the other room. And, to this day now, because of the things that I've learned in this awesome community, I've gone on to build a business that has helped me, not just financially, but also personally. I can get up in front of a room of 1,000 people and train something and not even be nervous about it. It doesn't bother me anymore because I've grown through it. And I've really stepped into what my strengths are. But a lot of times what's happened and what allowed me to get to that point, and believe me, I'm not here bragging. This is not about bragging. It's just about saying, hey, I've been where you might be right now. I've been there. I've been at the point where I wasn't sure if I could ever have success in anything. I've been there. And now here I am all these years later, and things have radically changed for me. I've been full-time online marketer for 10 years. I've been full-time in this for 10 years. When people come and go in this industry, I'm just grateful to still be here because I had a long-term vision to want to stay and do this. I've seen people come and go. They make a ton of money. And then, a year or two later, they're gone. I was just literally watching a video today of an event that happened 11 years ago. And I was at that event 11 years ago. And I'll tell you what was amazing it was a video and some people on stage, and I was one of the people on stage. And that was shortly after I had went full-time in my business. And I'm looking back and I'm like, holy cow, like that was a while ago, man. Like that was so long ago. And I'm so grateful I'm still here. And I was looking at some of the people in that video that were also speaking on stage, and so many of them are still here today. And I'm so blessed to be a part of that group that are still here. Is that what you want? Are you looking to be here, 5, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? If you are, and if that's what you want, you don't want to be some flash in the pan, then you've got to be willing to push through the pressure when it's on. You've got to be willing to press in when you don't feel like it. You've got to be willing to go through the ups and downs, and you've got to be willing to grow through that. Because I'll tell you, if you're not, if you cower back when the pressure's on, then you're going to have a hard time succeeding at this. Not because it's necessarily hard to do, but it's because it will require you to grow as a person to a different level. It's been said that the same level of thinking that brought you to this point in your life right now is not the same thinking it will take to get to the next level. It's going to take a new level of thinking. It's going to take a new level of growth in your life in order to reach the goals that you want. Do you think it's going to be easy? Do you think it's going to be easy when we live in a completely entitlement culture? I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Are you going to burst out of that entitlement mentality and say, if I'm going to have success, it's up to me. It's up to me and my creator to make this happen. You got to get a mean on for this stuff. Like, do you want to succeed? Because nobody's going to hand it to you. Like, nobody's just going to walk up to you and say, hey, John, hey, Susie, here's success. Here's the $1 million you've been wanting to make. Have fun. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's just going to hand it to you. You think somebody's going to come up and just give you everything you've ever wanted in your life? You're the one that's got to decide that you're going to pursue it. You're the one that's got to decide you're going to stick through all the hard times that happen. But I'm going to tell you something. All of those things that have happened to me, all of those things that I've decided to press through in my life have all been 1,000% worth it. You know why? Because I'm a better person today because of it. I'm a better husband today because of it. I'm a better father today because of it. I'm a better trainer because of it. I'm a better leader because of it. And boy, I still got a long way to go. Let me tell you, till the day I take my last breath, I will be learning. I will be growing. I will be doing retirement. Dude, I don't want to retire. Are you kidding me? People talk about, I want to sit on the beach, 40 years from now or however long they're talking. I want to sit on the beach. Yeah, I want to be sitting on the beach, but I also want to have a vision because to the last day that I go, I'm going to be working hard to impact people. That's just the way it is. I don't want to sit on the couch and wait to die. I don't want to sit on the beach and wait to die. Now, I do want to sit on the beach, don't get me wrong, but I want to have a vision that's going to be impacting people. So for me, I'm in it. Like I'm in this thing. And it's given me a huge purpose for my life. It's where God's placed me so that I can have the maximum impact. So I'm operating in the purpose that my creator put me on this planet to do. So you have to find that too. Because when the tough times come, when the pressure's on, that's all you got to stick with. You understand? That's all you got. That's all you have. That's all you have is the purpose that you are on this planet and to make that impact. So if you think it's going to be easy, it's not. It's not. It's not necessarily hard, but it's not easy because you have to grow. So I'm going to give you a couple tips this morning that can really help you to press in when the pressure's on. And the first one that I want to give you, and I think this is very, very important, is number one, you have to be doing some type of personal development. Now, if you are, a spiritual person, I highly recommend that you get into your spiritual books. If you're a person of faith, like I am, that is one of the first things that is the most important to me, okay, is my time with God. That's what I do. Now, whatever that is for you, you need to figure that out, okay? But for me, that is important. And it is important for me to be developing myself. I have my head in trainings. I have myself in books. I'm always looking to, improve myself. I'm always listening to trainers. I have books, audiobooks. I love audiobooks. So I'm always listening to personal development trainers, people who can pour into my mind good philosophy, good things, good ways of thinking, good concepts, good ideas. And I'm constantly filling my head with those because I want to grow. You understand? So that is really first and foremost. You have to do that. You're here. This is the step for you. This is the first place you should really consider being to get your daily dose of personal development. So I applaud you for being here. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I am so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're listening to this because this is where it starts. But this can't be the only thing that you do every single day. You got to spend a little bit of time, in the books. Find out. I'll tell you right now, I recommend this book to every single person. I've been recommending it for years because this book literally changed my life. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. You have to read that book. Like, for those of you that know me, you've been around a long time. That is like the one book that I have recommended literally for years, for the last decade and a half, because it's such a dang good book. Okay, so go to Amazon, buy that book and read it. It's super easy to read, but the concept is so crucial to understand when it comes to being successful in what you're doing. And I'll tell you, if you're anything like me, it will change the way you think about success. It will change the way you think about how you view leaders who have gone on to have success. And when you look at them, instead of going, man, I wish I had what they had. I wish, boy, they're so lucky. But I'll tell you right now, luck has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. It's about they decided to grow, and they decided to put something together and go out there and offer value to the marketplace and grow as a person so that they could go out there and make their products and services available. And people decided that they provided enough value that they were willing to shell out their hard-earned money to purchase what they were offering. That's what it comes down to. Has nothing to do with luck. It comes with, are you willing to grow? Are you willing to press through when it gets tough? Because I'm telling you right now, if you think this is going to be easy, and I know I keep saying this, you got it wrong. You got to grow as a person. It's the greatest thing you could ever do. Man, I'm telling you, when I finally realized the growth that I could have in my life, when I first had my first huge breakthrough in 2012, I remember it. I had my first 5-figure month. And holy cow, I just said to myself, the whole decade prior, the whole 11, 12 years before that, it was struggle after struggle after struggle after struggle, growing a little bit at a time, filling my brain with positive things. And boy, there were tough times. You heard Brian say before we got on here that there was a time where I had literally not even $10 to my name. I had $7 in my PayPal account. My buddy had $3.50 in his. We had to combine our money so we could buy an ebook on the Warrior Forum. That's how broke I was. So how can somebody say that is not growth? Because it was a couple months after that, I had my first 5-figure month. You know why? Because I finally had enough. I went into major action mode. Now, I don't know what it's going to take for you to reach that, but you got to figure that out. So here's your next tip. You got to prioritize. You have to prioritize your actions and what you're going to do every single day in your business. You have to do that. I can't even begin to tell you the people that I've talked to that, I remember one time I was doing a workshop and this woman was like, oh, I really want to be a part of this. I really want to be a part of it. What is it? What does it cost? Things like that. And so I just gave her the information. She's like, oh, that's on Wednesday nights. That's when I have dinner with the family. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm like, what? This is a 6-week thing. I understand having dinner with your family, but you're going to have to be willing to make some changes if you want to learn. I'm not saying don't spend time with your family, but what I am saying is that you got to prioritize. You got to learn to prioritize things. If you're not willing to uproot your life in a little bit, like if you're not willing to change things around and prioritize in order to get some things done and accomplished, then I'm just telling you, if you don't want your life to get a little uncomfortable, this may not be for you. If you're not willing to get a little uncomfortable and get outside, your comfortable zone a little bit in order to rearrange things so that you can do the things that are necessary in your business, it might be tough. I would highly suggest that if you have a significant other, sit down with them, talk about your plans. Sometimes people say, well, I don't have the time. That's a lie. We all have the time. It's all about prioritization of your time. So you have to prioritize what are the most important things you have to do every single day in order to move toward the ultimate goal. Okay, that book, The Slight Edge I told you about, when you read that book, you'll understand what I'm saying. Because it's the little tiny steps that you take every single day. The mundane actions, the little mundane, the things that are not super exciting to do, but it's the repeated actions of those mundane tasks over and over and over and over again are the things that actually lead you to success, whatever that may be for you. So you have to learn to prioritize, find out the things you need to do, and do whatever you need to do to rearrange your life, even if it's just temporarily, temporarily, in order to accomplish the goal. I recently had somebody tell me, I just want a business that just kind of runs itself. I'm like, you don't want a business then. Like, that's not what you want. Like that's not what you want. And you really have to learn and understand and have realistic expectations too. And sometimes it takes rearranging our mind, our thoughts, like to really get into, a level of like, I'm preparing myself for rain. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're a farmer, what do? You go out and you prepare the fields. And when the rain comes, guess what? All the preparation that you've done on the fields, when that rain comes, you reap the harvest. Like you reap the benefit of it. And that is what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, it's worth every single thing that you do. It's the most rewarding thing. I work harder today than I ever did for a job. And you want to know something? It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. The most rewarding. Like, I love the fact that I get to call the shots in my life. I love the fact that I get to choose when I work. I love the fact that I can get up and say, you know what? I'm taking my wife out for lunch today, and I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to ask for permission. I don't have to do anything. And I go out and take a 2-hour lunch with my wife. That's the greatest reward. I love that. So you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to go through to do that? And the last thing I'll give you, and then we'll head over to the Facebook page, and I'll give you a couple more tips. But one of the things that you really want to learn to do is that even in the situations where the pressure's on and how you press through that, is you really want to become an eternal optimist. Like, I am an optimist. Like, I just do. My wife will tell you sometimes to a fault. Like, when something negative happens, I'm always searching for the upside. Always. I'm always searching for the upside of that, because I can look at it in two ways. I can look at it, that situation, and get all down on myself, or I can say, well, what's the solution to move beyond it? And I'm always looking at that. Even when negative things happen, I'm like, well, at least we got this, at least we learned this. And, sometimes it's probably annoying to my wife, but I just, that's how I am. I'm wired that way. I've literally wired my brain that way to be like the eternal optimist. So that's my advice to you, is really learn to look at the upside of situations. If there's a time where you can't get that dang capture page figured out, like you're putting it together, you're just frustrated, go take a break. Go take a 30-minute break, walk around the block, get a drink of water, take your dogs out for a walk, go ride the bike or something, do something, get yourself away and come back and just look at it with a different frame of mind. So you got to be willing to push through those things, because I'll tell you, over all the years that I've been doing this, over all the years that I've been doing this online thing, I've literally coached hundreds and thousands of people. I've had thousands of students that I've worked with, and I've literally had hundreds of coaching clients that I've worked with over the years. And I'll tell you, I have seen way too often, and I don't want it to happen to you. That's why I'm saying this. People that say, I want this, I'm willing to do anything I have to reach the level of success. But when you really dig in there and you really get the pressure on, you find out that they really don't want that. It's just lip service. It's just there. It's easy to say, not always easy to do. So you want to get your lips and what you're saying lined up with what's on the inside. And if you can do that, if you can get the inside in line with what you say you want, I promise you, it will only be a matter of time until you reach the goals that you want to reach. But you got to be willing to go through the tough times. It's like Rocky said in the movie Rocky Balboa. He said, nothing's going to hit harder than life. But it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. Okay. It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. That is one of the greatest movie quotes of all time. It's really not about how many hits you're going to take, because you're going to take a ton of them over your life. It's how many can you take and keep moving forward.